Hi there ladies and gentlemen, this is Eastwood for Life fan here, back with another recent viewings video. Another one of my features on the channel that I normally do. Normally put these videos out every 3 months in talking about the movies that I've watched. Yeah, like I say, normally every 3 months. I kind of missed out a video from the summer to early autumn of last year, but I hadn't really watched a lot. But these movies and TV series are mainly what I watched from October to the end of 2021. We'll start off with the horror movies, as a lot of these were watched in October. This one, never seen before, the original The Town That Dreaded Sundown. 1976 movie starring Ben Johnson, based on true events about a serial killer in the 1940s in the US that never got caught. One that I've always wanted to watch. Kind of, I think a movie that probably influenced the look of Jason Voorhees in Friday the 13th Part 2, Sackhead Jason. But this movie kind of fell short for me. I do know that there is a remake of this one, a modern day remake, but yeah, it kind of fell short for me because the movie couldn't really decide if it's a movie or a kind of documentary going back and forth. But yeah, plus the odd few comedy puzzling scenes which I didn't think really was irrelevant to this serious storyline. But yeah, 5-star rating out of 10, so it's an average watch. I'm now starting to rate my movies according to the IMDb ratings out of 10 rather than 5 at the 5-star rating. But yeah, it was okay, but not a movie that I would probably revisit again. The Town That Dreaded Sundown. And this one, a 1980 horror movie, often kind of called a slasher movie, a Halloween movie on a train. This is Terror Train, starring again Ben Johnson and also Jamie Lee Curtis. Storyline is about a comical prank that goes horribly wrong a few years before, played by some college students, only for them to get kind of targeted by a serial killer on a train on a New Year's Eve party. Yeah, a little bit odd that you kind of know the killer before he goes on a killing spree, so there's no kind of mystery. But pretty decent slasher movie, this one, with Jamie Lee Curtis, and this one gets a 6-star rating out of 10. Yeah, one that I'd never seen before, Terror Train. Next movie is one that I wanted to revisit, this classic. Not seen this since the VHS days, My Bloody Valentine, which is a little bit hard to pick up in the UK. I think this is the only release on Blu-ray. Correct me if I'm wrong. The US Screen Factory edition of My Bloody Valentine, 1981 slasher movie. Yeah, it's many years since I last watched this one. Couldn't remember a whole lot about it, but yeah, a serial killer on Valentine's Day goes on a killing spree in a small mining town. Really enjoyed revisiting this movie. I kind of like the small town atmosphere and a lot of brutal kills in this small mining town, and this one gets a 7-star rating out of 10. Really enjoyed the pickaxe kill in this one, My Bloody Valentine. Never seen the remake. I might consider that one, but a slasher classic, this one, My Bloody Valentine, getting the 7-star rating out of 10. And speaking of classic horror movies, this one's another revisit. This one, Fright Night from 1985. Not the biggest fan on vampire movies, but this one, I forgot how fun and enjoyable and entertaining this one is. Always remember the hiring this one out on VHS. Charlie Brewster, a teenager, he discovers a strange behavior of a newcomer to the kind of neighborhood, and he suspects that he is a vampire. Only for him, Brewster, he kind of turns to and seeks some help from a TV horror acting host played by Roddy McDowall. Yeah, great movie this one. Yeah, not the biggest fan of vampire movies, but very fun and kind of horrific vampire movie this one, and very entertaining. Fright Night gets the 7-star rating out of 10. Really enjoyed revisiting this one, and do need to see the sequel, which I never got around to watching back in the VHS days. The next movie is Hatchet, which is kind of like a throwback to the 80s slasher movies. One I hadn't seen before. This is kind of like the US unrated director's cut. Really enjoyed this one. Storyline is nothing too fancy. Kind of like a 80s slasher horror movie storyline about a group of tourists who go on a kind of swamp tour, which turns into a nightmare, as waiting in the swamps is a kind of deformed serial killer and a local legend in Victor Crowley. Yeah, some great kills in this one. I do need to watch the other movies, Hatchet 2 and 3, and also Victor Crowley. This one, entertaining, a watch with some great kills, and this one gets a 6.5 rating out of 10. Highly enjoyable, this one. Hatchet, old school American horror. The next movie, pretty creepy watch. This one is Sinister from 2012. Solid horror movie about a struggling true crime writer played by Ethan Hawke, who moves into a new home. Well, while kind of looking in the attic, he discovers a box of home movies, and while watching the footage one night, he kind of believes that he's going to uncover the work of a serial killer. Yeah, very creepy watch, this one, and yeah, I'll give this one a solid rating of 6 out of 10. And I do know that there is a sequel, Sinister 2, which I probably would check out. Yeah, but good movie, this one, Sinister. The next movie really took me by surprise. Obviously, I know that this movie has sparked off quite a few sequels, but eventually got around to watching the first Conjuring movie, directed by James Wan. Kind of like ghost hunters, a phenomenal, paranormal investigators. They get called on to help a family being terrorized by an evil presence, based on true events. Yeah, very creepy watch, and for those who've never seen this movie, I dare you to watch this one in the dark, because yeah, great modern day horror movie. I'm not normally a fan of new horror movies because I don't really find them kind of scary or creepy, but this one ticks all the boxes, and I enjoyed the special features in kind of what I went into this movie, and meeting the real investigators and family. But yeah, The Conjuring gets a star rating of 8 stars out of 10. Really did surprise me, this movie, and we'll have to check out the sequels in time. The next movie, Midsummer, which some people have called it a masterpiece, but yeah, fell short for me after a kind of steady build up. But about a young couple and a group of friends from the US. They go to kind of like a midsummer festival in a small Swedish village. At first it's a friendly and carefree place, only for the Americans to kind of realise that there's a bizarre competition at the hands of a pagan cult. So I watched the extended cut of this movie. Maybe it was too long. Obviously this movie was heavily influenced by the original movie of The Wicker Man, but yeah, this one fell short for me and gets a below average score of 4-star rating out of 10. Midsummer. And the last horror movie that I watched in this recent viewings update, I had watched Halloween Kills on cinema. Kind of part 2 of the new Halloween reboot. A vigilante mob of a small town, they go after Michael Myers. There are good points and bad points about this movie. Much been said about this one, about the vigilante mob, which I didn't enjoy that part of the storyline. I mean, Michael Myers does do some great brutal kills in this one, but yeah, this movie was kind of more of a filler, which leads up to the Halloween Ends at the third movie, and not enough of Jamie Lee Curtis in her character in Laurie Strode. But yeah, some of it I did enjoy, but I'd give this one a 5.5-star rating out of 10, just slightly better than average. But do need to rewatch this again. There is a slightly alternative and extended ending to Halloween Kills, but yeah, this one gets a 5.5-star rating out of 10. On to some TV series. Finally finished revisiting the Breaking Bad TV series, one of the great TV series. Season 3, another 13 episodes, where this one, Gus, he offers Walter White a $3 million offer to cook crystal meth in a high-tech lab. And Walter White, he wants his former student and Jesse assisted. And then in this series, Walter White's wife, she eventually finds out about his activity in the crime world and wants a divorce. Also, you get some new characters with the 2 Latino assassins. Great car park scene with Walter White's brother-in-law, Hank. Great season, this one of my favourite seasons of the Breaking Bad series, and this one gets a star rating of 10 out of 10. Great series, one of my favourites in the Breaking Bad series. Season 4, another great series of Breaking Bad. The relationship between Gus, Walter White and Jesse becomes strained, with many twists and turns, and then Jesse goes on a kind of like a drink and drug binge, and also Gus's past character gets explained in more detail. And you also get the bent lawyer Saul Goodman. He comes into this TV series a whole lot more, and eventually gets his own TV series. But another great series, this one, and this one gets a 9-star rating out of 10. Great hospital scene with Gus and Hector Salamanca. That was a great finale episode, that one. So yeah, season 4 gets a star rating of 9 stars out of 10. Then the final season of Breaking Bad, season 5, it's often called season 5 part 1 and part 2, where Walter White, Jesse and Mike, they kind of form their own crystal meth business. Everything goes well, and Walter White, he earns around about the $80 million mark. Then eventually his brother-in-law Hank, the DEA agent, finds the identity of Eisenberg, and then there's a kind of like a desert showdown, and that leaves Walter White no choice but to go on the run. And a TV series with a true fitting end of Breaking Bad, and this one gets a star rating of 10 out of 10. So guys, if you've never seen the Breaking Bad TV series, then what are you waiting for? Because it is definitely one of the greatest TV series ever made. Breaking Bad. After finishing watching the Breaking Bad TV series on a revisit, I also revisited El Camino, the movie. This one is kind of like the story of Jesse Pinkman's character, played by Aaron Hall. After freeing himself from torture held against his will, he is now on the run, and there is a police manhunt, and it continues on from the end of the Breaking Bad TV series, where Jesse, he seeks for help from his buddies Badger and Skinny Pete to kind of start a new life. But yeah, pretty good one, this one. I did have sort of some bad thoughts, thinking that maybe they've gone a little bit, they might go a little bit too far on the storyline, but a worthy continuation of the Breaking Bad TV series El Camino, and this one gets a 7-star rating out of 10. Well made and very worth, highly recommended and worth watching. El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie. The next TV series is The Walking Dead Season 9. And following the aftermath of the all-out war in Season 8, Negan is now jailed for his previous crimes and killings. And then the joint communities, kind of being spearheaded by Rick Grimes, they tried to stay united with the Whisperers, who kind of come into the storyline. But yeah, not one of my favourite seasons of The Walking Dead. Yeah, you get the Rick Grimes character, who kind of a little bit surprisingly, I wasn't happy with the way his character disappears from the actual series, and then you also get a disappearance of the Maggie character. But yeah, I mean, it's not the best season, but it's still a worthy watch of The Walking Dead. And I do have season 10 and 11 to watch, which, if in all honesty, I'm trying to stay loyal to the show, but I'm not too positive in how this series might end. But yeah, The Walking Dead Season 9 gets a star rating of 6.5 out of 10, one of my least favourites from the series. This TV series, which I've started watching and currently on Season 2, this one is Daredevil, the first season, based on the Marvel comic character. It kind of follows the youngster of Matt Murdock's life, and how he was blinded and becomes a lawyer by day and a crime fighting vigilante by night. Yeah, very surprising me. This one has really surprised me a lot. I mean, it's completely different to the Daredevil movie that starred Ben Affleck. This one is highly violent and bloody and gory. Nothing that I actually really expected, but yeah, great series where the Daredevil, he goes up against Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin, and just recently announced season 4 will be happening. So yeah, so for guys who enjoy their superheroes, this one is highly recommended, and this one gets a star rating of 9 stars out of 10. Excellent show, Daredevil season 1. The next movie is a first time watch, one I've always wanted to watch, from the career of James Caan. This is The Gambler from 1974. Was expecting a whole lot more about this intelligent professor of literature who goes on a kind of roundabout of non-stop gambling, and after losing all his money, he borrows money from his girlfriend and his mother, expecting that his luck will change, but then he has all the bad guys to contend with, and he has trouble clearing his debts. Yeah, this one, like I say, was expecting a whole lot more from James Caan. I mean, performance-wise, it was okay, but this one gets an average star rating of 5 stars out of 10. I do know that they did do a remake of this one, The Gambler. Finally watched Iron Man fully, and really enjoyed Iron Man. If I'm true, Iron Man has never been one of my favourite Marvel superhero characters, but yeah, this one was a very good one. I was a bit dubious at first in Robert Downey Jr. playing Tony Stark, the millionaire engineer who designs a weaponized suit of armor to fight evil, and he decides to make this invention after being held capture in a Afghan cave. Yeah, highly entertaining, and a lot of fun watching this Iron Man movie. And yeah, great movie, and well played by Robert Downey Jr. with a great cast. And this one gets a 7.5 star rating out of 10. Iron Man. The next movie is Creed 2, and this is a first time watch. 2018 boxing movie. I wasn't expecting it to be better than the first movie, which was a great movie. This one, Adonis Creed, he wants Rocky Balboa to train him up for kind of like his toughest challenge to date against the son of Ivan Drago, Victor Drago. Yeah, really enjoyed Dolph Lundgren in this kind of Rocky spin-off. Also was surprised in seeing Bridget Nielsen's kind of cameo performance in this one. Yeah, like I say, not as good as the first Creed movie. Do we need another Creed movie? Maybe not so, but still worth watching and entertaining, this one. And I did like the training scenes in the desert, and this one gets a 6-star rating out of 10. On to a few Charles Bronson movies. This one is a first time watch for me, Gang War, which is a little bit hard to track down a physical copy. This one from the late 1950s. Bronson, early Charles Bronson role, where he plays a Los Angeles high school teacher who by accident he witnesses a gangland killing, and eventually he agrees to kind of testify to the identity of the murderers, only to realise that his life will be threatened. And it was an okay movie, this one, of a early Charles Bronson performance, and this one gets a 5-star rating out of 10 for Gang War. Seen this movie many times. I wanted to revisit this one again. The original Death Wish movie, directed by Michael Winner from 1974. Classic Charles Bronson movie about the New York architect who goes on a vigilante killing spree in New York. killing street punks and lowlifes after his wife gets brutally murdered. Great movie, this one. This one gets a star rating out of 9 stars out of 10. For those who have never seen this movie, highly controversial and violent for its day. Definitely do check out probably one of the greatest vigilante movies ever made, that sparked off many movies that followed. Death Wish gets a star rating of 9 stars out of 10. And the final Charles Bronson movie that I watched is Borderline from 1980. I hadn't seen this one since the VHS days, where Bronson plays a US-Mexican border cop, Jeb Maynard, who wants to stop a human smuggling operation across the border, and also to avenge the death of one of his partners, one of his buddies from his team. And you do get an early performance here by Ed Harris. A storyline that is quite relevant into today's world. But Borderline gets a star rating of 6 out of 10, and it was a much better watch this time round than I remembered it back in the VHS days. So yeah, 6 stars out of 10 for Borderline. On to the last stack of movies, and these are all Denzel Washington movies. This one, Courage Under Fire from 1996, where Denzel Washington, he plays a US Army officer who's been called to investigate the candidacy of possibly the first woman to receive a Medal of Honor. And the deaths and the events that led to her death is still a little bit unclear, which causes him to guess if the Medal of Honor is rightly deserved. But yeah, very good movie, this one, with an all-star cast of Meg Ryan and also Lou Diamond Phillips, Matt Damon, and also Scott Glenn. Enjoyable and entertaining movie, this one, Courage Under Fire, with a stellar performance from the reliable Denzel Washington. And this one gets a star rating of 7 stars out of 10. Next movie is a revisit of one of my favourite Denzel Washington movies. A top 5 Denzel Washington movie, this one, directed by Tony Scott, Man on Fire. This is the remake, where Denzel Washington plays John Creasy, a burnt out alcoholic ex-CIA operative who gets hired as a bodyguard to protect a 9-year-old girl. And he builds a relationship with the 9-year-old girl, where he really does care for her, only for her to get kidnapped. And then Creasy goes all out to find the kidnappers who have kidnapped the 9-year-old girl, played by a young Dakota Fanning. Great movie, this one, highly violent, and one of my favourite Denzel Washington movies, Man on Fire. And this one gets a star rating of 9 stars out of 10. Great rewatching this movie again. I forgot how good this movie is. And on to another great Denzel Washington movie, this one, American Gangster, directed by Ridley Scott in 2007. Russell Crowe, he plays a New York cop who wants to bring down a drug lord, Frank Lucas, played by Denzel Washington, and to stop a new wave of pure heroin coming onto the streets of the Manhattan district, based on a true story. Epic gangster movie, this one. Superb performances by Denzel Washington and Russell Crowe. And this one gets a star rating of 9 stars out of 10. Epic gangster movie that deserves to be mentioned with the other kind of modern day gangster movies. American Gangster. The next movie is Flight, a Robert Zemeckis movie. This movie took me by surprise, about a airline pilot who during a crisis somehow he saves almost all of his passengers in a emergency landing, and during a full investigation, the so-called pilot and hero gets revealed that he was kind of intoxicated with alcohol and drugs. And also you get great performances by Don Cheadle and John Goodman. And I love the ending of this one, which I kind of thought it was going to go one way and it didn't, and I'm glad that the ending was the ending that they went along with. Great performance again by Denzel Washington movie, highly entertaining movie in this one, Flight, and this one gets a 7.5 star rating out of 10. Next movie is Two Guns, a buddy cop action comedy movie with Denzel Washington and Mark Wahlberg about two undercover agents who aim to expose a drug lord. Pretty good cast in this one. You get Bill Paxton with Fred Ward and also Edward James Olmos. It was okay. I mean, it was an average rating. I give this one an average rating of 5 stars out of 10. For me, it had too many twists and turns, but probably might have to give this one another watch because it was quite sort of action-packed and entertaining. These two did make a good combination, a good duo in the movie in Two Guns. So this one, yeah, gets this 5 star rating, average rating out of 10. And the last movie is Fences from 2016, set in the 1950s. A working class African American father played by Denzel Washington. He raises his family, and he once dreamt of becoming a pro baseball player, which didn't work out for him, and over the years he kind of grows bitter over the missed opportunity, and kind of creates tension with his son who wants to become a college football player. But yeah, the acting performances again from Denzel Washington is top notch. So yeah, I'll give this one a 6 star rating out of 10 for another fine Denzel Washington performance in the movie Fences. So guys, there are all the movies and TV series that I watched from October to the end of 2021. Let me know your thoughts and what you thought of all these movies. It'd be great to hear some feedback and some comments from you guys. As always, stay healthy and well, and keep on collecting movies and watching movies. Take care till the next video. Take care.